Test. Good, Alien. Alien, how's the quality looking? Does the quality look good? Everything looks normal, like that. Nothing looks different. What's good, cool traders? What's good, love for Guap? Cass, what's up, brother? Curtis, Lazar, Naval. What's good, LeBron? Looks all good? Okay, okay. Good, good, good. Yep, there's news at 10 a.m. today, just like yesterday. Same situation. Indicators should be on here. Good behind the badge. All right, there's my daily outlook. Close that up. Right. Appreciate you, Adam. Adam, I go live every day, bro. Let me open up the accounts, get everything ready, and we'll cover by. Is it a bad idea to trade before jolts? It's not necessarily a bad idea. Just make sure you are prepared for when the news drops. If you have to close it before, then close it. What's good, Alice? Alice, what's up, brother? I could make a video on that, yeah. I think I had. I think that's pretty much included in my Gems PO3 playlist. The final video about that system. But I can make one just specifically on news. Good, Ross. Appreciate you coming back. Hope everything's okay, bro. I'm good. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. I feel like London's been printing recently, man. London's just been straight printing recently. Make sure we have YM chart open. Put YM here. Dollar chart. Mini chart. Get all our charts in check. Uh, Was long during London stop break even and it hit TP? Well, that's a good thing to review. You know, was your stop where it was supposed to be? I didn't trade yesterday's PM personally. My bias is bearish, right? You're asking me if your bias is bearish? How am I supposed to know that? Can you please change the orange color? You don't like this color? I can make it slightly darker. Do I have a serious problem? I like trades randomly, always in a boss. Good, Mastro. What does mitigating a fair value gap mean? I hate when people use the word mitigating. I don't know who started it, but that's not what mitigating means. People say mitigating as in like the first time trading into it, but that's not what mitigating it. Mitigation is used for a loss. That's what mitigation means. Nah, I'm chill. But there's just so many people who like spam the word mitigation. But in reality, mitigation means to like reduce something. Usually mitigation in trading means like you're gonna reduce your loss. Like you mitigate your loss. You know? Not when you mitigate a fair value gap. Like that doesn't make any sense. But everyone just spams it because someone started it. Anyways, when people say that, they mean trade into a fair value gap for the first time. Or they say like an unmitigated fair value gap. What does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. But everyone says it. No, I don't trade before market open. Oh, what time is it? All right, we'll cover the game plan. Um, let's cover the game plan. So, daily chart, very simple. Came down, swept the daily sell side, and then we had a very strong wick. I view that as quite bullish. Yeah, we did leave triple equal lows on, yes. We'll probably visit those lows at some point in time. But the fact that we're trading above the daily inversion level, actually this never even inversed, which is actually kind of crazy. Tells me we're likely to take previous day's high. So I'm leaning towards longs today. I'm leaning towards previous day's high and previous week's high. There's a chance that Monday's low is safe. Tuesday's low is safe. And we can look for high probability longs targeting previous day's high as well as previous week's high. Yeah, my bad, Mince. I completely forgot, bro. My bad. Previous day's high and previous week's high are my objectives going in for the rest of the week. Obviously, depends what today does. Looking for lower, realistically. I wouldn't want to see anything lower than, is there a 4-hour in here? There's no 4-hour yet, but it's forming. We're forming, we already have the 3-hour. If you want to go use that. Pretty clean fair value gap there. 2-hour already played, 1-hour already played. I wouldn't want to see lower than this low. So we can come down, sweep this low. It could even come into here. But I don't expect this low to get taken. And that's it. Everything else is fair game. So we're just going to look for high probability longs. Should be a relatively easy day. New week opening gap high can be an objective short term. I wouldn't mind taking a classic model short if we got something like this that's A+. And then we can take that short to predict the manipulation leg. I wouldn't mind that. I would take that. But I'd rather, best case scenario, just wait for the high probability long. Obviously, we have news at 10 a.m., so similar to yesterday. If we don't get something, well before news, well, then we just wait until 10 a.m. and then we take, the highest probability trade after, whether that's 10 a.m. open, 10:30, or 10:50 macro. And yeah, should be a pretty relatively easy day. I feel like this chart background was so good yesterday, but then today it doesn't look that good. Does the background still look good? The orange is hard to see. What color should I make it? Blue? I feel like that it was crispier yesterday. Maybe let's do it like that. A little brighter. Market open in 3 minutes. That's better. 3 trades today, 2 losses, 1. Daily IFPG? What do you mean daily IFPG? I actually logged in and I saw that I missed my war attack. I was so sad. How can you 12 a swing higher low should not be taken? Understanding the market structure and the order flow and the immediate draw on liquidity. We inverse the daily BISI. I don't know. I don't think we did, brother. Unless we did on the mini. Not on the micro. Either way, I'm still bullish because what we just did on ES and NQ, I don't think I can just ignore that. I think even if we're bearish for the month, I think the immediate draw is higher. We just mark out opening range gap. So it should be opening range gap. It's going to be opening range gap low. And yeah, pretty simple game plan. We left equal highs here. So we'll definitely look to target that. If we get a move lower. Yeah, should be pretty simple. Pretty simple game plan. On your micro chart, I might not have. It's probably on my fault. I don't have beta adjust. But you have settlement. You have settlement prices active. I don't use settlement as close on as the daily interval. Turn settlement pricing off. I use closing price as like regular closing price, not whatever it's settled at. Settlement price is a different time, so she's using a different closing price. That's not the closing price that I use. Bias is bullish. Good luck with your bias. Appreciate you, brother. Or do I turn that off? If you go to the daily chart, then you'll see it. At the bottom right. It's like right here where my camera is. It'll say beta B adjust and settlement price. Keep beta adjust on, turn off settlement pricing. The only reason you'd ever turn on settlement pricing is to see something that you can't see. But when you're looking at the closures, I personally have always used settlement pricing off. Yep, I'll be tomorrow, maybe evals. Anyway, let's minimize chat. Open up the accounts. 9:30 open. Get your opening range gap high. Right there. Opening range gap high. And today, I guess we'll look at the quarters because it's quite large. So let's take out our quarters. There you go. All right, let's see. So we have an objective higher immediately. If we can trade lower and get a PO3 setup from there, that would be great. Well, how big are the candles? 20 points. Probably be around a 4 micro trade day. Let me quickly check the stock market. Oh, damn, we went straight down, huh? I'm just making some purchases. So we go straight down to Oric CE plus pre-market sell side. We could look for a classic model long here if we get like an inversion that's quick. I want to buy more. So let's see if we get the first presentation here, although I don't think we will. We took the pre-market sell side. There's an S&T there. Um, the only thing we'd really be able to enter would be this inversion if it forms. 50% opening range gap. This would be a regular inversion. Say we got, I think the risk reward would even be good enough. So we got something like that. Maybe we can squeeze it out. I mean, week opening gap high. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see how it forms. I don't think so, though. Because the stop's going to be too large. And let's take off 25%, 75. We can just eyeball those levels. 50% org, we can see. ES makes a higher high here. If we get something like this, we could enter long as well. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. And if it gets really choppy here, then, well, we just wait for 10 a.m. news. Keep it simple. I see this inversion. Not a bad, like, what's the risk reward here? 1.5, and then new week opening gap is at 2.2. Like, maybe if we closed above 25 point stop too, we could do 3 micros, 20 micros there. But I don't know. It's not A plus. Also, because it's failed to inverse once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times now. Do I really want to be a part of that trade? Probably not, right? Rather wait for a CISD perhaps if it'll be a better setup. We also really haven't put in a first presentation yet. Usually you want to wait for a first presentation, then it becomes more clear. Right now, just going back and forth. So still no fair value gap put in after 9:30. So this is what it looks like so far. That's all we've done. Nothing clear. Yeah, I don't even think I would take this inversion anymore. So we'll just wait. We'll just wait. I think it's just sloppy opening. Back and forth. Still no fair value gap. So just wait. Wait for the clear delivery. Let's check out the YM. See if it looks any cleaner. Well, YM just kind of went higher at 9:30. Now it's pulling back. Okay, so we take out this low. That's totally permissible. Now we just see, do we start moving higher? ES trades below, no, not really below anything significant. There's probably a fair value gap in there. Yeah, trading to the low of that. We may get even lower. 30-minute, 1 hour. You see the trend to the low of the hourly fair value gap. We're inside the 3 hour. CISD would be right here. That's what I'd need to see to go long. Quite a large stop loss, but we could use the breaker. 1.5 and then a 2.2 best case. Yeah, we can make it work. Remember, previous day's highs are real objective, so we'll see if we get a CISD here. If so, I'll execute long. ES hasn't taken out any sell side stuff. It might want to go lower. CISD, and it's not going to be clean A plus, but I would take it. I think it's worth the risk. Stop below the breaker low, which also cover the body low, 31 points. I'll have to be a 2 micro trade on this account. 60 per micro, 60 times 4 is 240, like max risk for Apex. So we'll probably just go down to 3 micros for Apex. So we'll see if we get the CISD. So we went below opening range gap. We got around close to 75%. I think we just failed to get there. Now we're trading above 50%. I like seeing that signature. Um, oh, we need to wait and see if we get the pretty clean CISD there. Breaker as well. We just wait. Let's put some price targets on ES. Tuesday's high is pretty far away on ES, so there's still no fair value gaps besides this little music. This like fair value gap sucks. Like little weak thing. Might be a little bit hesitant to take a reversal if it's gonna like it's just like, formed really sloppy is what it is. Mini looks pretty similar. Trading into that bullish fair value gap. This is a really sloppy delivery so far. I'd mark out 50% of this wick. ES looks like it's really sideways. I think it's best to just stay patient here. I think patience is probably the smartest thing to do. Look at this discount 15. Maybe we get into that, and that'll be something slightly higher probability. Did we get a 15-minute CISD? No, not really. 30-minute, 1 hour, it's not happening. So like this is really high resistance. A lot of wicking. We actually respected that bullish fair value gap. Although I don't think it means much. Respected org, respected 50%. That's a huge wick. So when we put a stop loss today, we got to make sure we put it at the low because we've been showing signs of high resistance. We are in discount below 8:30, not below midnight, but we're close. ES looks like Chop of Doom. YM's going lower now. I think ES needs to take out sell side before anything major happens. You could argue this is first presentation, although it's so sloppy. If anyone's in a trade, man, they're probably not feeling too well. Every time it moves, just wicks. Pretty large move right now. Wouldn't be surprised if it also wicks. I'm trying to not read too much into this price action. Just gonna let it do its thing. Maybe wait for the macro. Next 1 minute candle, we get a new 15-minute candle open. Maybe that candle, we set this low. Next candle trades at the next candle's high. Seems like something that's potentially likely. ES has a nice fair value gap right there. that I just put in. I think ES might start to wick, and then we start taking out some of these highs. Although there's nothing here that I'd be able to trust. So, doesn't matter much. I would not trust this CISD right now. Good ES. Absolutely dumping. I think these lows get taken one more time. I don't think it's done its job lower yet. Although we did close above the sell side. ES hasn't taken any sell side yet, so I think it wants to go lower. And this price action is, you really just stay patient, you know? Like every single candle is wicking. 10 a.m., you know, at this point we probably just really want to wait till 10 a.m. Be smart, play it safe. I think this goes lower still. I think ES wants to take the sell side, and then only then can maybe something clear happen. YM's taking its sell side. Put an alert there for YM. ES moving lower. Okay, there's sell side on ES. Maybe we can do something with that. There's the 50-minute bullish revive gap. See, like this is a nice body. I like seeing that. That's what I want to see. Hopefully we can get a nice move, clean, obvious move higher. Still not the cleanest, if I'm being honest. We do enter the 50-minute fair value gap. We do take out the low. I think if we get the CISD, it's worth the risk. Maybe I'll risk 30, 20. Yeah, it'll be a 2 micro-ish trade. Floppy, but if we get above first presentation, 50-minute gap, ES took the low. I think we'll execute this trade if it closes above here. And we just trust that engulfing. All right. Watch it trade lower. Take the position. Stop loss goes to 370. Pretty simple trade. How big is the stop? 36 points. So we wait. All right. Easy plan, right? CISD, first presentation, reinverse, 50-minute fair value gap, discount, all that stuff, and we're bullish. And we're going into the macro. So let's see if we can get distribution. I like this trade already. So not based on what I'm seeing, just in general, I like the trade that I've taken. I think I was good patience there. And we took the best setup that's formed. YM's making lower lows. Not what you want to see. Ideally, we see speed above this high. The idea of this trade is pretty simple, right? London low is likely to be safe. If we see speed above here, it means people who shorted this, I want to see that run against them right now. And I want to see that run against them pretty aggressively. 52-point run. We are seeing some speed. I'm going to mark out this potential inversion fair value gap. Mark out the consequent encroachment level. See if that gets respected. So now that we've inversed this fair value gap, okay, first things first, more important, let's reduce our risk. So let's take the quarters of this order block. If we're bullish, I don't want to see it trade to 75%. So we'll put it at 75% for now, which also covers this breaker. So let's go to the breaker low actually at 379. Call it 380. So moving the stop to 380. 379.25 actually. So reducing the risk on the trade. 79.5, right? Yeah, all right. I'm still giving it room because I know it's been pretty sloppy. So we see this fair value gap here. I see opening range gap high. We closed above. Now we trade lower. That's fine. We're allowed to trade lower. Trading inside this inversion. We'll see if that can, help us move price higher. We do have news at 10 a.m., so I do want to be a little bit careful. But if we can start moving higher before it, then we can likely see a nice move. We do have an SMT, I believe, currently. Like this. But I'm hoping that we can speed up and take out that SMT. So we'll see. I see the bullish fair value gap here that we've traded into with one tick so far. Getting kind of messy in here. I think we remove first presentation. Remove this. And when it comes to executions, we don't really need to see the labels. So I see the SMT here. I am still bullish though. The idea is that we're not likely to take this low. We'll see. We did inverse this fair value gap. I don't like how low we're trading into it now. Very aggressively so as well. Trading back to the CIST. We do inverse that fair value gap. I'm still going to hold on to this trade though. I'm allowing it to trade back into this order block. So, we just take a fib here. That's basically what I'm looking for to be respected. Looks like ES will make a lower low here at 949. It's kind of sloppy. It's sloppy, but I knew it was going to be sloppy, so we kind of just roll with it, I think we just have to roll with it and see what happens. The higher time frame narrative strong on this one. Shouldn't be coming back all the way down here. See if we can follow through. They always gotta make it uncomfortable on us. ES looks really bearish, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we did put an SMT here now. We'll probably get stopped out here. Yep, we just got stopped out there. Well, it was a good idea. We'll probably wait till 10 a.m. news now. That's the best thing to do. Wait for 10 a.m. news and then go from there. Move this lower. We did put an SMT. I'll probably wait for news anyways though, so that's fine. We took a good trade. It kind of fizzled out. We'll see if the low gets protected. The low might be safe, but either way, if it's trading this far down, it's obviously strong bearish order flow. I'd rather take the reduced stop loss. I reduced my stop by 30 points there, so. Or it was really, yeah, 10 points. No, our stop was, where did we get the fill at? 7.9. Yeah, 10-point reduced stop. But to be honest here, we might have been wicked out, if I'm being honest. And that might just be a stop loss error. But we put an SMT there, so I mean that would have been hard to predict. All the signatures here are pretty bearish. You know, we inversed, strong candle, closed bearish there too. Putting in bearish fair value gaps. I think it's best just wait till 10 a.m. news. Because even if I was in the trade right now, I would not want to be holding this trade with 10 a.m. news because I don't want to get a bad fill on my stop, right? So just wait. Best to just wait. Would look like we're going to take this low. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's re-annotate this 30-minute fair value gap. Floppy day. We still haven't gotten above the 930 high. But we could get a really clean CISD here. Only issue is news is coming in minute 30 seconds, minute 40 seconds-ish. The SMT still holds. But again, with news lingering in a minute and 1 minute, I would probably just terminate the trade either way if I was still in it right now. Maybe I'd give it like 1 minute to see if this candle were to expand. Trading to the low of the breaker. What's YM doing? YM is just making straight lower lows. I think we have a 4-hour bullish fair value gap right under us. Yeah. So I think probably 10 a.m. takes the low there. I don't think this one stays a breakaway. So let's annotate the 4-hour. It's going to form right now in literally 30 seconds. And then we probably look for a long from that 4-hour. Do I ever break even this trade after the inversion? Maybe. I don't know. We did reduce our stop slightly, so. Okay, 4-hour fair value gap is set. Pretty strong 10 a.m. news candle or speedy. I want to see it go lower if I'm being honest. Trade into that 4-hour fair value gap. It might stay open, but I would prefer it go lower in this specific instance. So let's see if we can sweep out that low, trade into the 4-hour fair value gap, and then move higher. Currently an SMT there, so I think ES trades into it. I mean, what sucks is this meets my criteria. If ES gives us CISD, I mean, we'll, whoa. Just have to wait here, unfortunately. Yes, there's an SMT there, but again, I'm not going to take the fill all the way up here. The RR wouldn't even, risk reward wouldn't even be worth it. Like I said, I took a fill right now. Stop goes there. It's 44 points for 62, best case scenario. Not worth the risk. We'll just wait for a protraction model now. Once you put the stop here. If this can give us a protraction from this fair value gap, that'd be amazing. Hopefully it does come back for us. Like, I think it's super hindsight that that low didn't get taken. I really think news could have easily just chose to, move 2 ticks lower. Ugh. We'll just wait for a protraction model now, since the low's there. Let's see this bullish fair value gap, see if we can trade into that. So if we get something like this, that'd be like probably A plus, depending how it forms. And then we just trade that, target the equal highs, target new week, and leave it under the previous day. Best case scenario. Hopefully something like that forms. Here she goes. I don't think she's coming back. Which makes sense, to be honest. Why would it? It just wants to speed up and take out those highs. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. We have a long way to previous day's highs, though. We'll see if we can find something, in mid-session, if this just goes. We'll see. It can still retrace. Pretty nice delivery, I guess. Can't really complain. We could have took the fill here. That's just too risky, in my opinion, though. Pretty clean 3-minute fair value gap. That could maybe give us something if we don't take out these highs first. Or new week opening gap high. So we'll see if we get that 3-minute gap. I'll annotate it as such. That would be nice. That would be nice of them. They give us a nice protraction model. Make it easy on us, man. It hasn't been easy. No like clean, very obvious setups. Gotta read between the lines and stuff. I think we traded into a 1-minute there. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna take that. Did it even respect? It did respect. So if I really wanted to, I could take this 1-minute OB. I just don't like the trade like that. ES got a really strong candle, so I'm hoping this comes just a little bit lower. We'll see if it does. It'll be the higher probability trade, so I'll wait for it. And if it doesn't want to, that's okay. ES trades into the 2-minute fair value gap, so there's an SMT there. If you want to be aggressive. If you want to be, okay, nice. Looks like it will come lower, so. What's up, I? It does inverse, so even if we did take this protraction, it would be invalid. Actually, there's a 2-minute fair value gap there, so it wouldn't be invalid. 3-minute stays open. 2-minute trades. 1-minute OB. Maybe. Not the best setup. Best case scenario is 3R. Well, best case scenario is a 1.5R now. Yeah, no way. Not tradable this high up. Straight to buy side. Well, it was clear. It was clear where it was going, just not the clearest delivery. There's the buy side. They'll have new week opening gap high, the target. I think the 5 minutes forming might be a stretch to ask for the 5-minute though. We'll see. We'll just wait for a protraction model. Previous day's high is still a long way, and I don't mind looking for a setup to previous day's high. I still think that's the main draw for today. We'll see though. I would need a pretty nice retracement for it. We have SMT at the buy side. Looks like we are maybe retracing here. The 4-minute gap is really clear. To be honest, it's the cleanest one. Maybe something from here. I think the 5 minutes forming as well. 30 seconds till the 5-minute forms. I guess we'll just mark the 5-minute, but just know that it can wick through. Take an OTE of this range. I mean, like in hindsight, if we left our stop here, sure we would have got TP1, but I mean, I don't think anyone can predict news falling short of the low there by 2 ticks. I feel like most times news takes that low. Anyway, 5-minute fair value gap formed. Let's see if we can get a protraction model from it. They're gonna leave every fair value gap open, every high probability fair value gap open. Not even asking for a move into discount. Just give me this low right here, 425. Not the cleanest deliveries with price. It might just keep going up. Form a 10-minute or like something like that. 15 minutes, gonna be a while. If we don't get this 5-minute, then we're probably gonna have to wait till 10:30 before anything high probability forms. If we get the 5-minute and a nice protraction, then we could take it. The ES formula. ES has like no fair value gap form. Pretty sloppy delivery, man. We're trading lower, so we might get the 5-minute. Hopefully we put a bearish fair value gap in right now. That would be like best case scenario. If we can put in a bearish fair value gap going into the 5-minute, then we'll have a very, potential easy setup. Like if this just starts to wick and start trades higher, I mean, I guess we can take the OB. Just give me a bearish fair value gap, then we can get a nice fill. Could trade into here. Someone might like to snipe that entry at OTE. It's possible. Like I said, it can go through the 5-minute. That's why I was drawing the 4. It's also been floppy all day, so. I When I asked for an inversion, I didn't. When I asked for a bearish fair value gap, I didn't mean something like that, man. I mean, damn. This is the mother of all fair value gaps. Let's just see what happens. See if we take out the low. Make things really complicated. Keep the chart clean for now. We might be coming back for that 10 a.m. low. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a 4-hour fair value gap. But we also may not. There's an SMT there, yet again. If we get the inversion here, would it be valid? As long as we don't inverse this fair value gap, then it would be valid. Okay. So if we get this inversion, I can take a long and start looking for objectives above new week. But I do think it can likely go lower. What is this email I got? Here's an SMT, but I feel like the 4-hour supersedes that. We'll see. We'll just wait. If it inverses, I'll take it. If not, then obviously we go to the 4-hour. We wait for a CISD and then take that. Did we leave highs? No. What's YM doing? Pretty much nothing. Okay, we'll just wait and see. If it inverses this fair value gap, then that inversion is not valid. Actually, I suppose it still would be. There's the inversion. 2-minute. It's still respecting technically, so I mean, let's just see. Hopefully, it just goes to the 4-hour. I actually like an up close candle here, because if we go like this, then we get an easy long, right? If it just goes down, we don't get an easy long. Nice. This is good. Nice. I like the way it's forming right now. It doesn't need to go lower because there is an SMT. So like, if it does inverse, I'll take it. If it doesn't inverse, we wait for the CISD. I'll play either scenario happily. I'll play either scenario. Like I said, the 4-minute fair value gap. If it wants to trade like that, it can. But I would prefer one more leg because I'm not liking this. I prefer it come down, although I don't require it. For now, we'll just mark this out as an orange box. Could probably get away with a stop at like 42 points. Damn, barely get 2 micros out of that. We'll see. I'd much rather see it come down. It would just be way higher probability if it comes down first. Call it the 2-minute. Let's make this a little bit cleaner. We could get a fill around there, 35 points at this low. It's just been so floppy in the retracements. New 15-minute candle. Hard to say if it's likely to be bullish or bearish. See if we get the inversion. I'll likely take this setup. ES still has a long way to go for the highs. Watch it trade down. Watch it trade down. All right, I'll take my fill there. What? I clicked buy. Stop going to the low of the inversion candle. 398. And I honestly think we just look for previous day's high. For now, we'll just throw this up here. Right, we tried this setup. 1-minute inversion. We got the SMT. It's a protraction model long because of the SMT. We also respected the 4-minute fair value gap. There's a 2-minute in there we respected. There's a 3-minute in there that we disrespected, but I don't really care about that. And I want to see a run to previous day's high. It's a pretty free run, meaning if we do get above these highs, I think it should be relatively easy. NQ is the more bullish asset. ES still has a long way to go for its buy side liquidity pool. So we'll set an alert there. See if ES wants to do that. Take a look at YM. YM also looks like it might be pivoting higher. So pretty solid trade. I like the other one more. I think the other one was better still, but it's a decent trade as well. And it's definitely something I would take every time. So we'll see. What I'm looking for is like a speed above this high, and then we just start to rip above here. Ideally, it should be a low resistance liquidity run if we get above this high, in my opinion. Although I don't believe in breakouts. I think previous days high is a strong draw on liquidity. If you want to be more sufficient with the stop, realistically, you could put the stop here at 411. I'd probably only do that if we get above these highs. Just gonna leave it where it is for now. The low of the inversion. Trading back into the bullish fair value gap there. Trading back into the inversion. I think a cleaner annotation. We'll just annotate this fair value gap here. I want to see speed into new week opening gap. We can get above new week opening gap. Like I said, I think it should be a relatively easy run. Towards the higher time frame objectives. Maybe if I put an eye emoji, this will do better for us. I personally believe in the eye emoji. I don't know about you guys. The eye emoji does wonders. If we can close above here, like that's a 15-minute CISD. That's pretty solid. Because then we should get at least one deviation of that, which would be right there. 544. Slowing down. Should be seeing speed, but I'm just going to give it a chance. I like the trade. I don't see myself changing anything about it. So we'll just let this one go and see what happens. Let me tap. 555. I guess we open chat because this is pretty boring. Chat saying, previous trade was a loss. I will help with the hammer. Thank you. I believe in the magnet emoji. I think the magnet emoji is kind of 50-50. Going to consolidate until closer to macro. That's fine. Just pass it from the next account. Nice, bro. No, it's not. I missed the limit long at IFG target equal high TP hit. Limit missed. Sure. I mean, if that's what your model says and you missed it, that's okay, bro. Yeah, I'm using TradeAway. I'll teach you after the stream, Ryan, if you want to join up a call. I wouldn't mind showing you. Took the same issue, didn't get stopped out by news. Nice, you love to hear. Yeah, TradeAway's not the easiest, but once you get used to it, I use TradeAway every time. It's pretty clear once you get used to it. I actually really like it, to be honest. I'm looking at new week opening gap. I want to see us find footing here. Find footing in its quadrants. Got above 25. How to use partials on AlphaTech? You can just partial by clicking market sell or buy on any trade you take. Market sell your position, broski, if you don't know how. Yeah, just market sell if you're in longs, for example. You put the magnet. Personally, don't believe the magnet, but it is what it is. I'm going to bring the stop to 411.5. So at least we get to reduce our risk if this trade fails. What did I say? 411. Let me just double check these price levels that's going on here. It's been so sloppy, so it's kind of hard to move the stop somewhere I trust. Like realistically, it shouldn't come back here, but I feel like it easily could. Realistically, I could put my stop here, so I think 411 is fine. Still have to manage risk in your trades. So we got to 50% or 75%, fell short, but that's fine because now if we get back above, we find footing. So if we can get back above here, I think we traded into something. 3 minute, 4 minute. No, we didn't trade into nothing. If we can find footing there, that'd be nice. Bringing the stop to the low of the fair value gap there. Also covers most of the inversion. Covers 50% of the 5-minute order block. Not really. I guess if you use the whole price leg. Cover the body low there. The candle that formed the 3-minute CISD. I think I like the stop at 400. I'm going to put it back to 400. Covers the full inversion, and I think we just leave it there. I think it's too sloppy of a day to be moving the stop. So I think we just have to accept the risk fully on this one. I'm going to leave the stop to cover the full inversion that we entered off of. And we'll just leave it like that. Maybe we get a protraction model here. But if we get something like this, right, then we can move the stop to this level. And that would be nice. Other than that, we just let this do its thing. It's 10:30 now, so hopefully we get that range expansion. I wouldn't want to see the previous 30-minute low get taken. Just nice 30-minute open PO3. And so sloppy. Yeah, I know. But it's okay. Explain partials. Alpha's not getting 25% again. Not this month. Gotta explain the partial. What do you mean explain the partials? What does that mean? Trade every day? Yep, I'm here every day. If that's what you're asking. Why is the market so dead? I don't think it's dead. I just think it's kind of high resistance. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, bro, I guess. Targeting previous day's high on this trade. I'm full porting copy trading. Please don't be wrong. Never, ever, ever trade to be right. Never trade to be right. The goal is not to be right. The goal is to make money. If you trade to be right, your ego gets in the way. You make bad decisions. There was a beautiful silver bullet. Yep. Can we reach for previous week's high? You could. It may not be something that today happens, but I think eventually we'll get to previous week's high. I have it marked out, but again, it's not like a. You have to ask yourself, yeah, eventually we'll get previous week's high, but what's the probability of you getting stopped out before then? You know, that's what you have to ask yourself. TB level is at 554, 555, anywhere up here. If you want to snipe the clean 555, that'd be pretty cool. But again, never have an ego. It doesn't have to get up here. But to be honest, like I said, it's gonna be a low, like at least from my opinion, it's gonna be a pretty easy run. Previous day Asia session is right here, but there's not much between here and here. So I'm expecting if it comes up here, it just clean swipes all these highs. You know, that's kind of the narrative. But again, never ever try to be right. It's not about being right. No one cares. No one cares about previous day's high. No one cares about your entry or where your stop loss is. It's going to do whatever, and you just have to do your best to navigate the position. Would you move top to 430? Yeah. Yeah, if we get above new week opening gap, I will. That's exactly what I said. So if we get a clean protraction like that, that's a clean order block. And you could do it now. I'm going to wait for us to get above new week opening gap. It's just been so sloppy. That's the only reason. You could long now off the 1 minute order block that formed. Put the stop at 430. Is there a 5 minute gap there? It's all balanced out. I mean, we did leave portion of that open. You could add positions here, but I have a profit target on these accounts, so there's no point in adding positions. Can you quickly explain order blocks? Okay. We're bullish. Price comes down into a discount level right here, and then it closes above that discount level. So that price leg of down closed candles that gets closed above, price should respect that range because it only came down here to trade into the fair value gap and the low here. So if that's the case and we then invalidate that price range being this right here, but I'll make it clearer by going on the 2 minute chart because it'll just look like 2. So see, if we invalidate this price range, then you don't expect it to come back below. If the draw is here, that's the whole point. If we're wrong, well then this is your invalidation, assuming we close below there. Right. CISD is what forms the order block. Did you see topside reactivating fee? No. Why not SL at break even? If we get above new week opening gap, I'll put my stop at 430.25. Because that's where the order block formed. Break even, no one cares about where my entry was. It doesn't make sense to put my stop at break even. There's the stop to 430. And great trade. Yep, great trade. Let's be precise. I like to be precise. I'm hoping we get a clean run to previous day's high, but on the bright side, the stop loss was reduced really nicely. I always say, my saying is, what they're called. If you take a trade that allows you to reduce your risk, it's a good trade. That's my saying. I want to see if we can get to -1 here. So we're only risking around 11 points, 40 bucks on this trade now. So pretty easy trade to hold. Now we just hope, it goes to previous day's high. We can mark out some potential profit taking levels. You have previous day Asia high right there. Previous day Asia high. If you were not comfortable holding this position, this should be your previous day AM high right here. So if you go to the 4-hour, go to RTH, that would be right there. So previous day, hold on, let me double check this information. Yeah. So this is Friday. Oh, right at -1 standard deviations. I like that actually. This is Friday, 13:30 RTH high. Right at -1 standard deviations. I actually like that price level. Though you only see that in regular trading hours. If you go to the 4-hour time frame, it looks like a 4-hour bearish fair value gap. That's kind of what it is. It's this high right here. Wait, what's going on? It should be this high right here. Yeah, okay, I thought it was. Oh man, I don't know what's going on here. It's just confusing. It's just confusing stuff. Well, it's like changing every time the 4-hour RTH high here. This is 9:30, 13:30. So this is Friday PM session high, to my knowledge. Friday PM session high. Yes. The reason this is important though is because this price level hasn't been traded to in regular trading hours. So it's significant because has not been traded to in RTH. That's the significance of it. You could add a position on the OB here. 2-minute OB is the cleanest. I think it's the same price point. Yeah, I mean, it already formed. You kind of missed your entry, if I'm being honest. Don't request to join the live. I'm not going to add anyone to the live. Working inside that new week opening gap. You could take a partial here. Partial here would put me at break even on the day. And then the runner would get me near the profit target. Yeah, you could look at previous day's Asia high as a target. I really like this level. But if we're being honest, if we're going to get all the way up here, then come back, I'm pretty confident in previous day's high. I'm kind of willing to just leave this trade. Yeah, just confident to leave this trade, to be honest. We'll see. The 1050 macros coming, 30-minute. If you go to the 30-minute candle, like our stop covered the last 30-minute candle low. The next 30-minute candle, let's go to RTH. Our stop covers the 1 hour RTH candle low. It should not take that candle's low, in my opinion. I like where our stop is. Like, we can just leave our stop here and hope for previous day's high. I think that might be worth it, you know, because it's a pretty significant price run. Does the 12 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. opening have any influence on your buys? No, but I can frame trades. 8:30, yes. 8:30 gives me a discount premium level. 12 a.m. open. Oh, midnight open. Yes, yes, of course. Oh, yeah, of course. Very, very key points. I thought you said, I was thinking of 12 p.m. like in 1 hour 20 minutes. No, yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. Those are very key points for me. So there we get the spike through Friday 13:30 p.m. session high. If you're uncomfortable holding this, I know people are copy trading. If you're uncomfortable holding this, just put the stop to break even, or put the stop or just take a partial here, you know. ES still has an objective at 64620, so I'm not gonna partial here, but like I said, if you're uncomfortable, it's not just about capital, it's about mental capital as well. You always have to ask yourself, are you willing to, like, for example, if price comes back and stops me, am I going to crash out? No, I'm not going to crash out because I've accepted it. But if you put your stop somewhere like whatever and then it stops you out, are you going to crash out? Because if you're going to crash out, this is an eval. No, I'm not working on any evals right now. All funded. Now I'm going to crash out. Exactly, right? And that's fine. Listen, it's fine if you're going to crash out. You just have to know what's going to make you crash out. And then you have to trade around that. That's a part of trading that people don't realize. Don't let yourself crash out. If you need to partial here, if you need to full close the position here, 200 ticks. It's a pretty nice price run, 50 points. If you're going to crash out, just close it, you know. I'm not going to crash out. I've accepted it, really. I think the draw is more likely to go higher than lower. I really like where my stop is at. I just need the patience. This is one of those times where I'm saying, F the partial rules. I'm trusting my narrative and conviction. And if I pay the price, I pay the price. It is what it is. Fundanex is a great firm. Alpha Futures right now, listen, I'm going to be honest. Alpha Futures has 0 activation fee on their advanced account, which is their best account. So if you're interested in getting a really good prop firm account, brother, if we forgot to put the TP and SL before opening and TradingView, can we do it later? Yeah, you can do it. I always do it after. Like, I put this TP and SL after. I didn't put it before. Why not move the stop to break even now? It shouldn't really come all the way down. You could move it to break even. I put it at the order block, 2-minute low, because that's what for sure would invalidate the trade for me. Realistically, if you want to talk about levels that shouldn't be hit, and I think I will take my first partial here on ES. That's where I want my partial. And I think you can, but if it, like, for example, this breakaway, it shouldn't even come here. So why don't I put my stop to the bottom of new week opening gap low, for example, at that point, you know, which I probably will do. Let me just make sure I can get a partial here on all my accounts. Quick maths. Is it 3? No, it's 10. Sorry, gotta do the quick maths. Trade of 8 copy trading is weird. So why the partial here? -1 standard deviations of my protraction model plus ES took out the buy side objective. Stop loss goes to the low of new week opening gap. That puts us break even on the day, so it's a good money management situation as well. And then let's see, can we get the snipe? I'm gonna take full TP on my live account there as well. And we let the rest go, man. We let the rest go. See, -1 sniped right there. The rest of it goes. We'll set the limit at 2, 3. You know, just in case. No, I'm not taking 2, 3, 5, 5, 4. If we edge it, I always say plus 2 points. So if it's 5, 5, 5, we go to 5, 5, 3. Just in case, man. Not messing around. And I believe, yeah. So we'll be up on the day. So manage the money well. And like I said, if we do get above new week opening gap, it should be a relatively easy run. Could get a pretty decent retracement here. I actually wouldn't be mind adding a contract if we got something high probability. We'd have to wait and see. Nice trade. And we tried it the first time, stopped, stayed bullish, re-entered. It's been a lot of that recently. First trade loses, second trade plays out, or like the next trade plays out. We could maybe just focus more on taking higher probability trades. But realistically, I really like that first trade. Maybe we could have managed it better. Like we could have went break even, I suppose, on the SMT. But nah, I don't know. I think it was a good trade. Yeah, I like the stop loss here. Covers that wick, covers new week opening gap. Just making sure I'm not missing anything clear. Covers CE, the 10-minute. Covers a whole bunch of stuff. So, right there. We could put it right at 454, to be honest. I mean, the whole point is new week opening gap doesn't get traded to. But we'll give it a couple ticks just in case it wants to wick it the bottom of it there. So plus 1 point. Wait, shoot, why did I close my Apex trade rate accounts? Four, 6, 9 for good luck. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't come here. You're right. It shouldn't come here. And if I start seeing stuff, I can always terminate the trade early. You know, so just because my stop's here doesn't mean I would never close the trade unless it hits my stop, right? It's not the purpose of that. How do you get zero activation fee? As long as you use you can just use my code. For example, if you want to use my code, um, and that's it. Yeah, that's all you have to do actually. Just get an account, use a code, and you'll have no activation fee on the events, my brother. Who 2, 3, 4, 6, 4, 6, 8. Oh, here? No, no. This is a real. If I was trading another account that I could add, I would add. I would add a position here for sure. Like I said, you could take a position here. You put your stop right here. It's a protraction model, and it's a really good trade. The only reason I'm not adding is because these accounts have consistency rules. So I don't need to add. You know, I just need my profit target to get my payout. Otherwise, I add. The no activation fee is only on the advanced. Yeah. What made you lean bullish? The daily chart and London low likely being safe. Standard deviation indicator. It's not an indicator. I always annotate it myself. It's very simple a concept. Think about it like this. So when we're bullish, if we're going to move 42 points down, we're bullish. And we move 42 points down, I want to see at least 42 points up if we can get above that zero line. That's all it's saying. It's a measured move, right? Another way you can do it is take the leg and multiply that. So if basically saying if we're bullish and we're able to move 89 points, I want to see a double move 89 points. Did it hit 2RR? We're above 2RR at this point in time, yeah. Bro, is something wrong with your funded next code and how much is off? No, I think it's just 5%, bro, unfortunately. Next payout. It says invalid because you can request payout whenever, brother. There's no certain date. So it says invalid, but it's because whenever you're eligible, you can request payout. Yep, standard deviations. It's good, 2 chains. in a 1 hour BPR. I think previous day's high is too strong of a draw. What's funded next payout rules? Bro, all you need is 40% consistency. That's it. That's the only rule. 40% consistency, so therefore you can get a payout every 3 days. That's the minimum. Do you get money off the monthly payment? For which firm? I get 10% commission for anyone who uses my code with Alpha Futures, Apex, and Funded Next is weird. Funded Next, you have to use my link and my code. But like I said, Alpha Advanced, I get 10%. So any Alpha account with my code, I get 10% off. I mean, 10% commission. Max payout, it depends on what account. The method that I'm doing, Ryan, is 25K account. I try to go for an $800 payout. That's the max for 25K. And I try to just repeat that on multiple. Because you got 2 of them, it's 800. So you can get up to 12 account. I mean, you can get up to 12. So if you really get into that cycle of 25Ks. Explain the entry. Yeah, I just entered off this inversion. Pretty simple entry. Just entered off this inversion fair value gap. As soon as it closed, I entered. It came down a little bit. That's when I bought it. That's all. Top step back to funded. If you blow your funded and then you reactivate it, it's kind of a red flag, no? I guess unless you get a payout, you blow it and then reactivate it. Okay, that makes sense. If you get a restart, that's not a bad idea. Because when you request a payout on Top Step, you don't have much left. Why does a higher time frame FMT not matter here? Because I'm bullish, brother. Very simple. Where was the first presentation, Gatie? I would have used this. Was it this one? This one. But this one on ES is also clean. I would have just used this because it's so not clear and this is literally just the first one. If you wanted to, you could use this. This would be a little bit of a cleaner option. Like this is the first clean one in my opinion. But who knows, bro? If it's not clear, just don't use it that day. Use something else, bro. Use something else, realistically. It's just supposed to be a confluence. So if I don't see a crystal clear first presentation fair value gap supporting my trade, the confluence is not there, you know? That's how I view it. Why would London low likely save? Daily profile. Daily power 3 says London low is not likely to be taken. How old were you when you started trading? 20, I think. Or 19. If you're funded on Top Step, you have to have 5 winning days above. No, you don't have to do it above 2,000, but it would be nice if you got it above 2,000 because we take out that buy side from Monday. It would be nice if you got it above 2,000 because then you can always have a buffer on the account. I think this retracement's fine. We'll just let this go. Will you ever go to school? I have a degree. And I would never go back, if that's what you're asking me. Yeah, could be the next setup here. 5-minute fair value gap. If we get an inversion here, for example, you could take that. Could be a 5-minute bullish inside the macro. Not a reason to close the trade. Like, see, this is where you have to use, sorry, I don't want to say common sense, but like, for example, this is a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. What's bearish about tapping into a 5-minute bullish fair value gap? Like, yeah, we invalidate the protraction model low, sure, but this protraction model almost already went to 1 standard deviations, and it's a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. You have to use kind of some logic as well as, you know, I'm not going to put my stop here. Now you could, if you want to aggressively trail your stop and maximize your profits every trade, it's not a bad thing. But it's a 5-minute bullish fair value gap, so I'm going to leave my stop there, you know. I like my stop where it is. I honestly think we just sit here and be diligent about it. What are you using for TP? What am I using? Sell limit. Not sure what you mean by what am I using. But you also don't want to be the guy that says, "Oh, I have to be right to make money." You know, doesn't have to be doesn't have to reach previous day's high for me to be, right. Like a part of it is ego, Part of it is ego. Like I want to be right. -2 standard deviations. Everything's aligning, telling me it's probably going to take previous day's high. What if we don't? What if we stop right here, come back, and then later take previous day's high? It's possible. What's the scenarios of that happening? Not that much. Most times it will just go to previous day's high, I would say. You sound like Linguini? Who the hell is Linguini, bro? Are you trading 1% of the account capital? On this account or my live account? No, I do not have a degree in finance. I have a degree in exercise science. On alpha, I accidentally wanted to place mini instead of micro. I think on alpha, they don't even let you make that mistake. I think you're fine, bro. On your live account, I risk 1% per trade or less. You go, Jim. I've recently started going again. I've fully recovered from my back injury. It's more likely to reach previous day's high than to reverse. Okay, if you want to hear some probabilities, these are the probabilities. It's more likely to take. Realistically, it's very unlikely that we come back and take this low. If we're bullish, that's one. Two, in this scenario, in terms of the probabilities, right? How do I make this most clear? Let's go to the hourly chart, okay? This hourly candle, it's not likely to take the hourly candle low before reaching the buy side. Think about it like this. The magnet's getting stronger and stronger here because we're getting closer and closer. So it's more likely to pull this way. That's the same concept I used when I said I don't expect this low to get taken. It's the same concept. In my pre-market plan, I said we can come down all the way here even. I even gave us this fair value gap pre-market. I said we can come down all the way here, but I don't think it'll take out this low. It could, but the probability says it's not likely. Why is it not likely to take out this low? Because market came down below two-day opening price and gave a 15-minute CISD. It's a pattern recognition thing. It's all it is. There's narrative behind the pattern, but it's just a pattern. If we're bullish and London session goes below midnight opening price into a fair value gap or low, giving a 15-minute CISD, whatever low is put in there is not likely to get taken in New York session if we're bullish. So meaning if the day is going to trade higher than that scenario, it's a very high probability chance. So with that being said, I know that I can long when price comes back into London's range. I just have to find out what's a high probability scenario. It ended up being, this is what ended up forming. 15-minute gap, SMT. I admit it would have been a little bit higher probability if we reswept these lows, but if I got stopped out on this inversion and it came back and then gave me another setup, I would just take it again. I would have taken me 3 tries, but if that's what if market's going to be sloppy and manipulate 3 times below into a high probability discount and 3 times give me a high probability confirmation, then I'll take the trade 3 times if that's what it takes. That's why I risk 1%. I'm a trader. Inbox me. I made more than $10,000. Bro, if you don't have a Lambo, I don't believe you. I mean, you don't have to believe me, bro. To be honest, it doesn't really affect me. Where would I move my stop? I don't think I'm going to touch my stop. I'm slightly up on the day. I'm up on the live. Realistically, you have to start asking yourself, though. So right now, if I were to close the trade, so let's use some common sense here. Right now, I'm up 70 points, let's say. And I'm risking, on the downside, I'm risking 55 points to try and make 40 points. So in hindsight, I'm risking $100 to make, I'm risking $110 to make $60. It's like negative RR right now. Like this is basically the trade I'm in. So you want to use some common sense. This is the trade I'm in right now. Is it worth it? Nah, probably because the probability. So let me ask you, if you took this trade 100 times, would it give you more profit or would it give you more stop loss? That's what you have to ask yourself in probabilities always. in my opinion, even though the RR is 0.7, I still think it would play out like 80% of the time, which is still profitable. So it's worth it, you know? But I also want to go to the gym. So we'll see. I'm not talking about this. You'll be fine, bro. The person asking about alpha, you'll be fine. Why did you keep your bullish bias even though we the equal highs got swept? This is the number one mistake I see ICT traders make. Just because buy side was taken doesn't mean we're bearish. That's not what the idea of liquidity is. The idea is if you are bearish and we sweep buy side, then you look for higher probability shorts. You can't say, "Oh, we took buy side, I'm bearish." That's not a those things don't correlate. Just because we took buy side doesn't mean we're bearish. Like I said in this specific example, if we were going to get above these highs, I expected price to spool higher. Like I said, I don't believe in breakouts. I don't trade breakouts, but that's the idea. This is a breakout. Some people bought on this breakout because the narrative was right. You know? So you just need to know those little things. You can't say covered price and now you're risking it because your trade is floating. You can't say covered price. No, I'm going based on what I secured already impartial. I've just made the switch to fund an extra other payouts reputable. Yeah, you'll be fine. Daddy, do you know what motor you recruit? Of course. Daddy, can I help you buy? Dad, can you help? I buy new alpha evaluation account. Can I pass in one trade? What will be? Only the zero accounts can do that. Only the zero account. The other two, you have to pass in like 2 trades, I think. Re-entry at 5. I wouldn't buy the 5. But if it did this, you could add one. If the RR is good, I can add one just to demonstrate to you guys what it looks like. Daddy, how to act when I'm on a losing streak on my eval. Problem is over trading. I think being on a losing streak on your eval is a good thing. That's the best time to be on a lose streak. Take advantage of the losing streak, you know? Don't see it as a bad thing. See it as an opportunity to improve. You're probably making some similar mistakes over and over again. Perfect. Great. That's so good. As opposed to someone who's winning, it's not easy to improve when you're winning because you think you're doing everything right. When you're winning, no one's like, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I improve? They're just like, made $400 today, and then they journal $400. I took this long, but as if that journaling does anything for them, but in reality, it doesn't do anything. No Kispe, but I like you, so I'll open one if you want to. Just message me. How do you trade when you're under 18? You don't, but I'm gonna be honest. Just study, or you trade under someone else's name and hope you don't get caught. How'd you decide on your sell limit? The daily chart is going to take this level. I don't know when. It may not happen right now, it may not happen today, but it's a very strong objective. It's a previous day's high. If you look, go back in time and just look how often does the market take either previous day's low or high? Almost always. Almost always we take either at least one of them. And we're obviously not going to take previous day's low today. I mean, it's possible, but we're like the probabilities are very low. So, if 90% of the time we take previous day's high or low, and 90% of the time we don't take previous day's low in this situation, well, then I know the probability of taking previous day's high is really, 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 really high. Now it's just about when do we take previous day's high. Is it going to be in my trade, or am I going to get stopped out before it gets there? I don't know. How much did it take for you? How much did it take for you from when you start to get your first payout? How long did it take, you mean? I got my first payout in 3 months after purchasing my first eval. My risk management helped me keep the balance intact. Same. It's easy for me to hold this trade because I took a partial, I moved my stop. On my live account, I full closed. On my live account, I'm fully out of the position. Yeah, simple. We already took the hires. My top step tripping. Top Step's data is a little bit different in that sense. It's because it's counting Monday's trading. That's probably what's happening there. Could I take my payout and put it all in black? I wouldn't do that. So frustrated making 1500 yesterday, then blowing it today, making 1500 on a new account right away. If that's frustrating, then don't do the 1500 method. You know, try to risk 500 and make 1,000. Can you show me what marketing standardization of this manipulation like on the 15-minute chart looks like? Lowest low in New York. The high that put in the low. -1 is a measured move. If we're going to manipulate below 930 opening price, this much, 87 points, I would expect at least an 87-point move higher. 15-minute bullish fair value gap, just traded into. Hopefully this is the catalyst to see, wait, am I tripping? Oh no, we didn't trade into it, that was my marker. There's a 15-minute bullish fair value gap there. We'll see, man. They're starting to get pretty slow. Accumulation. Took me 5 evals to get my first payout. That's pretty good, man. That's really good. After passing a funded, what are you suggesting? How to get a payout? Bro, daily OB... The market doesn't have the power to break that. Do you consistently trading every day for the past months? I've been live streaming every single day for the last year and a half, almost. What's harder to pass, 50K or 5K? Depends on the parameters, but I'm going to go ahead and say 5K probably. Do people usually target -2 to 2.5? It's all about narrative and how much you expect the daily range can go. This is futures, but you can trade along with NAS 100 if you want. Took me 25 evals and 800 to get my first payout. Man, that's not too bad either, I don't think, to be honest. There's an SMT there. I'm really tempted just to get out of this. It's getting really slow and choppy. I think we just get out, man, and just journal and go about my day, go to the gym. I'm going to get out there. There's an SMT. We're going to retrace. I don't know how deep the retracement is going to be. Yeah, I think the probability was good. There's a 15-minute bullish fair value gap here. But I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it anymore. I want to go about. So we'll let that go. There's a 15-minute bullish fair value gap. If you haven't, if say hypothetically I didn't take any trades, I would look for a long from this 15-minute. If something like this happened, could be a pretty high probability. I could even re-enter. If I was going to stay longer on stream, I would just sit here. I'd close the trade, sit here, wait for a re-entry, and then take that. That's how I would manage the position, because it's not worth holding the risk if I know there's going to be a deep retracement to a level that could offer me a re-entry. So for example, I close the trade here. That's fine. I take the profits. Okay, we get a re-entry. Okay, just take that trade as well and risk the profits. You know, it's like a risk-free way to have the highest probability in your favor. But I don't want to sit here and wait for a re-entry. I don't want to sit here and re-hold a trade. That's a lot of consolidation when previous day's high is right there, which means we could get a deep retracement. 23 minutes of sideways when previous day's high is right there. It's not worth it for me with the SMT slowing down. So I'll just take it there. And we also took one loss. Not that that matters, but you have to manage your capital. Would it be worth it to still hold a trade towards previous day's high? What I would do, if you wanted to keep trading, just close it and look for a re-entry. Like, for example, we get an order block here. I would put money on the line that if we get this order block, we most likely speed up towards previous day's high, you know, for example. So why hold the trade here when you know it's going to form? If it's right. If it doesn't form, then you know it's going to come all the way down here, and then you saved yourself. So it's like a safe scenario either way. Someone asked in the chat, he said, if you pulled Hellet. No, I have a girl. Going to be my girl forever. What live broker? I use interactive brokers. I want to know the bad days for trading. Depends on your model, my brother. You want to know my bad days? I don't like FOMC morning. I don't like day before NFP. I don't like speaking right before a large Fed speech, an important one. I don't like trading bank holidays. Those are my days. I still have runners. Should I close? If you have, it depends on the situation you have, you know. Is there a profit target you're trying to hit? Unfortunately, with evals, with funded accounts, we have to adapt to, you know, targets. What's the most you lost in a day? On my live account? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't lost a trade on my live account yet. I've only been trading it this last August and now though. Well, actually, I guess I lost this one, but the day still ended green. So 1%, bro. I don't lose more than 1% per trade. Should I switch up on my day ones after my first payout? No. Will you execute the OB? No. So tomorrow not trade. Tomorrow I'll probably hop on and trade evals because there's still red folder news. I think we can get a nice setup. Would I execute the OB? Raise my profit target to a degree. 1.80 bucks. No, I don't think I would. I'd rather come back in the PM session. SMT plus the 1 minute OB. It's a pretty good trade, to be honest. I don't know. I'll say here, I'll journal, and then if it forms, I won't take it on my Apex account, though. I already closed those. Maybe just this one funded next account that we're trying to get a payout on. It's pretty slow. If you don't mind me asking, if you want to know, DM me on Discord. I don't mind sharing. I just don't want to tell everybody, because then everyone's gonna have expectations and stuff. If you want to copy trade Apex funded on TradingView, I don't think you can do that, but maybe with TradeThinker. Going down. Nope, I'd still be bullish personally. First trade was this CISD. Second trade was this inversion. So first trade reversal model long, second trade. And let's just put this here in case. Okay, let me just take a screenshot quick. If this order block forms, I'm not going to take the entry, but that would be my model's edge. Although it's kind of weak the way it's forming right now, it's probably still valid, a valid edge. But let me screenshot this for the Discord. On funded, I risk 0.25% of the account balance. I told you guys, the eye works better than the magnet. Or I guess it was the person who put the magnet, who knows. If we get that OB, you could try it. It's kind of slow. It's kind of choppy. Lunch does often retrace into morning session range, but because the objective hasn't been met, it's possible. And obviously, this only is valid if we get the OB. Hopefully, no one took that trade thinking. What made me go long today? I can post a trade recap. If you want, but pretty much what made me go long is one, I was bullish, expecting previous day's high to get taken. London low was likely to not be taken, so I knew when we came into a discount PD ray, which was like right here, that it was, and I got the confirmation I was likely to move higher. Tuesday's high was not met on regular trading hours, and that's what you're seeing here. Monday's price action there is no Monday. It's just Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, they sync them up. So a lot of people are going to have different charts, but that's pretty much the premise of it. This would be your new order block. This would be your new protected low. This one never formed, obviously. Now ES also traded into the 15-minute fair value gap, so this order block would be a lot better, I guess you can say. On funded, I risk 0.25%. Can you show how you find the weekly opening gap? Go back to Friday, mark out 16.59 closing price. Go back to Sunday and mark out the opening price at 18 o'clock. What's the position we in right now? The only position I'm in is in stock positions, my brother. Is that bitchy 1048 if we close above? An implied bit this? No, that would be a reclaimed fair value gap. If we close above here, that would be a reclaimed bullish fair value gap. An implied FEG is a different thing. It's when you have this wick overlap, and then you get above it. What are the main rules you gotta look out for on Apex? I'm gonna be honest, bro. The best thing I can tell you right now is on my TikTok. I literally just made a recap of like the top 5 rules or something of Apex. I would just go there, or my YouTube Shorts. I think also has that video. I would just go there. Wednesday, September. What's today? September 3rd. I'll show you guys my journal after while we watch this print. Can you? Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. Trade 1. Reversal model long. AM low. M1 CISD. I think there was a 15-minute bullish value gap in our trade there. Equal highs / previous day high DOL. And that trade was 950 macro, right? Yeah, 950 macro. So that was a good trade, you know. Result, loss. Trade 2, however, a protraction model long. Say M4 bullish fair value. I mean, let's say M3. People don't like it when I say 4-minute because they never check the 4-minute. You know what? F those people, bro. That's the one that I saw. M1 IFEG. SMT. Oh, there was SMT on the other trade too. Let me put that in the journal. SMT. And it was a 10 a.m. range expansion idea. I wouldn't really say 10 a.m. range expansion idea. I would say 10-15 range expansion idea. I think it'll reach previous day's high eventually. Yeah, just like I said, depends when. Same drawn liquidity for that trade. Oh no, that trade drawn liquidity was NWOG high / previous day's high / high of day on PS. No macro in that trade, but there was an SMT, and then the result was win. Notes. First trade was solid. Yeah, kind of what you get for trading before 10 a.m. red folder, but I would take it again. Just one of those times where it stays sideways until 10 a.m. That's fine. It happens. I still like these trades because sometimes what happens is you take it, it starts to rip, and then 10 a.m. just right through your TP. That happens sometimes, so it's worth the risk in my opinion. But you have to just accept the losses when they come. I think it was slightly de-risked as well, right? Did we take 2 and then 2? Yeah. It was slightly de-risked on Apex. On Apex, I only took 3. No, I went 3 and 3 on Apex as well. Yeah, never mind. It wasn't really de-risked. Feel like we could have had another entry right here. 1032. That's your protraction model. Could have re-entered there. Probably someone that I know took this trade. Time for sequential S&P. I've never used that. Probably never will. Is that all I want to say? Second trade, really good. Guys, I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell you. Missed entry by a tick. I'm going to be honest, bro. That's probably on you. I don't know. My saying is F your limit order. Click market buy or sell when you're confident and the risk to reward is good. You know? So we still long. I'd wait for an order block. Just wait for an order block. If we close above here, for example, you could look for it. Didn't help you not FOMO. I get you, bro. I mean, listen, and if that's it, then that's fine, you know? You just have to weigh the pros and cons and see what's best for you. For me, I would... What makes me annoyed is when I have everything's in line, everything, and then my limit order doesn't get hit. But it's like, I could have got in. And I'm like, why am I being greedy, trying to be that perfectly precise? Like for example here, am I gonna wait for a retest? No, man. Like, who cares? It's 10 points. You know, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't mean much. I'd rather secure my entry. But if you're that person that says, okay, I need to stay disciplined with the right order where it's supposed to be every single time, okay, that's good that you know that about it. That's like the most important thing is you know which one's best for you. So I'm just putting this in the journal. If you guys don't know, every trade we take on live stream is journaled here. I've only recently started doing this, so there's gonna be some obviously missed out. But trade 1, trade 2, you know, same thing as yesterday. I only will say if it's a loss, win, partial loss, or partial win. That's all I'll say. I won't say like the RR because it's hard. I have one account here, one account there. Live account is only on some of them, so it's pretty hard to keep track. This came from TikTok, Vamos. Yeah, man, YouTube chat's way better. Okay, let me tell you guys something. I want to tell you guys two things. Before I head out. The first thing I want to tell you is Alpha Futures has no activation fee on their advanced account. Now, normally, I don't get the advanced account, but these are the benefits of the advanced account. 15K payout cap, no consistency rule, no scaling rule, no news restriction rule, 90% profit split. You can get a payout every 5 winning days. It's basically like a super top step account. You know, that's basically what it is. It's more expensive than the others. That's why I normally don't get it, to be honest, because the return, I can make more money from a standard, in my opinion. I like taking small payouts, but if there's no activation fee, it's definitely something to consider. So I just want to put that out there. Also, if you use my code, let me know. I'll enter you into a giveaway of 250K advanced accounts. Right now, it has no activation fee. Normally, it does, but it's a promotion for right now, no activation fee. So use the code for an advanced account if you want. If you're brand new, I wouldn't recommend this account to you. I'd probably still go with the 0, which is just 10% off right now, because it's easier, to be honest. Get your first couple payouts and then move to the harder account, which is advanced. Yeah, I'm going to get stopped out. That's okay, bro. When you had your stop loss there, did you think you were not going to get stopped out? Never think that. So in this case, we were, you know, pretty smart of us to take. I mean, no, our stop was here at the low of new week opening gap. Well, we'll see. We may not take the low of new week opening gap, but like I said, it should have really been speeding up here. And I was risking $120 to try to make $80. Is that worth it? It's hard to say. But yeah, it'll probably give it. Where's the code? If you want to support me and use my code is Gatie, but I always say just use your favorite person's code. It's only fair, you know. Everyone should use who they like or who they want to support. Besides that, is there anything else I want to say? Oh yeah, there's one more thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is, and I'm only gonna make these important announcements to the people who stay to the end of the stream, because those are the people I like most, because they stay for sauce. They don't just stay to coffee trade. I'm working on something big. I don't know how long it's going to take. This isn't necessarily sauce, but I'm working on something big. I'll give you guys an example. I'll tell you guys how big. How big is, I genuinely think this is no, it's not an affiliation. It's not about making money. It's about drastically improving my trading and edge. This is something that I don't think any trader in the space does because they don't know how. And also, I don't know how, but I'm going to try to learn. And the most I can say is basically, so you know how, for example, today, I told you guys that London low is not likely to get taken, right? I told you guys because we manipulated below midnight into a fair value gap and or a 15-minute low, and then closed above, forming the 15-minute order block, and the market's predisposed to go higher, it's not likely to take this low, right? I told you guys that. And I know that because I've backtested it 5,000 to 6,000 times, and I've seen it so many times, and I know that more times it doesn't. So I know there's an edge. But how strong is the edge? What's the actual probability of us taking this low if we're bullish? What's the number? That number is unknown. I don't know that number. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know the number. I just know it's more likely. For example, if we trade into, what's the number that if we trade into 50% of London range, that we get a high probability continuation? Let me give you another number. If London low is safe, how often does New York trade to -1 standard deviations of the entire London range? There's a number for that. There's an edge. I'll give you another number. If London sets the low below midnight, how often do we trade to -4 standard deviations of Asian range? See all of these scenarios that we know are probable, but we don't know the actual probable value of it happening. I'll give you another example. If we go below 930 open and London low is set and we know the bias is bullish, how often does the 1 minute CISD print at least 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, 3 standard deviations, etc., etc., etc.? We can get very specific high probability edges based on that information. Getting that information is not going to be easy because I'm not going to go back in time and do it manually. That would take a very long time. I'll give you guys another example. Very simple example. If, say this is Thursday. This is Thursday's price action. It went down. Okay? This is Thursday. If Friday takes Thursday's low and closes below, a lot of the time Monday will also take Friday's low. So Thursday, Friday, Monday. That happens a lot of the time. It's a very high probability. But what is the probability? You get what I'm getting on? What is the actual statistical value that when we see this signature, does Monday take Friday's low as well? And then obviously same thing for bullish. We know I have an edge, but how strong is the edge? That could give us really, really high probability value and high probability trades because we know exactly which edges are strongest in my model. Now, it doesn't necessarily change much because I know they're still all probable, but we can find real exact high probability trades. For example, how many times do we get a move that's significant before we take first presentation? What if it's like 90% of the time? Then we know every single day we should wait for first presentation for value gap. You know? We can do another backtest. How often is there an SMT at the low of morning session? If it's 90%, well, damn. You know? I've always thought how much the etc. could line up for a high. Exactly. There's really an infinite amount of statistical edges that I can look for using my Power of 3 model. And I'm going to try to find as many as I can, and I will share them with you for free. That's what I'm going to try to do. That is my next project. I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to quit backtest. I've come to the point where I've backtested the last 5 years so many times, I don't know what to backtest anymore. Like, I'm out. It's dry, bro. It's dry. It's dry as a desert. There's nothing else for me to backtest. There's nothing else to backtest. So the only thing I can do is find statistical edges now. And are you a coder by any chance? If anyone happens to be a coder, or like they know about, I know you can code strategies and backtest them, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to code probabilities. For example, can I go into a code and somehow say, how often does Monday take Friday's low if Friday takes Thursday's low? Can you backtest the last 10 years? I'm sure you can do that, but I have no idea how about... I mean, I was doing some research yesterday. You know, obviously there's AI and stuff, so I know you can do that. If anyone wants to help, I wouldn't mind paying if you can do good. I will probably figure it out, you know, whether or not I get help or not, but I will definitely find a way and get that information. We took 2 trades, 1 loss, 1 win. We're up on the day. Anyways, we'll figure it out. I suppose we'll figure it out. Anyways, I appreciate you guys coming through. I will be live again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're only going to trade evals. It's the day before non-farm payroll. You guys already know. Oh, of course big bank algos are coded that way. Bro, listen, every single big player, their markets, it's coded. Every single big player, let's say 99% of them, it's coded. Because you can't just, bro, they can't just go on the computer and click buy 100,000. It's just not possible, bro. It won't go through. You know, there won't be enough liquidity. So what do? They have to break down their order. And how do they do that? With algos. It's, by the way, this information is not probably, like, it's 100% true. There's algos that break down large orders so that they can fill. That's exactly how the market moves. If you want to support me with, yes, I do have a code with Funded Next. If you want to contribute to the giveaway, every single dollar I make from Funded Next, I will show you guys every dollar I get from affiliations from Funded Next. I will give it away. If we want to do a cash giveaway, I don't mind. Maybe a poker tournament. Maybe we do, like, I don't know, whatever. I don't know how much I'm going to make. The issue is, so you can use my code. My code is Gatie. But I think I only contribute to that amount if you use this link and the code. Otherwise, it doesn't make, like, it doesn't go through. But if you already have an account, then just use the code. It's up to you. Go to Gatie. They'll give you a little bit of a discount. How's the stock market doing? Anyway, that's my speech for today. Pretty bland day in the stock market. Well, that's my speech. I appreciate you guys coming through. Looks like we got a full reversal in lunch. So, what's the immediate draw? Probably this 4-hour gap that was left untouched. Equal lows. Looks like we're fizzling out. But anyways, we got a good trade. Like I said, you don't have to be right to make money. Never trade to be right. Trade to make money. But at the same time, don't get attached to the money. I know it's hard. Trading's hard. Why evals tomorrow? Because Friday is non-farm payroll. So therefore, Thursday, we have to be very cautious with executions. Maybe Funded Next funded account. I will stay away from my Apex. Maybe Funded Next account. Because there is red folder tomorrow, so it could be decent. But I will not trade the live account, and I will not trade my Apex accounts or Alpha. I mean, I'm working on Alpha evals, so we'll trade those. Anyways, I appreciate you guys coming through. I will see you guys live tomorrow and Friday and every day after that. I'm gonna go make food, journal, edit the trade recap video, and then go to the gym. So till tomorrow, can I pass an evaluation of my user signals if I win my trades that specific time? Sure. Amir, could you maybe make a video about patience using today? Yeah, I'll include that in the trade recap. How about that? Appreciate you, Adam. Take care, my brother.